The Church of What's Happening Now is brought to you by Blue Apron. Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country, period. Blue Apron's mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everybody. Do me a favor, check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals for free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Joey. Again, that's blueapron.com/Joey. You'll love how it feels, tastes, and you'll be happy to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron, so don't wait. That's blueapron.com/Joey. Also brought to you by Onnit.com. Alpha Brain 24, not even 24, 100% money-back guarantee. Go to Onnit.com/church. Boom! And press Joey and get your little Alpha Brain today.
Just Onnit.com/church.
Onnit.com/church. Let's get this motherfucking started. Oh shit. Monday the 28th of August, Labor Day next week, cocksuckers. Here you go.
American woman, stay away from me. American woman, mama let me be.
For all you dirty freaks out there.
Don't come hanging around my door. I don't want to see your face no more. I got more important things to do than spend my time growing old with you. Now, woman,
The Church of What's Happening Now.
stay away. American woman,
Rudy Sarzo,
listen what I say.
Syatt. Oh shit, Uncle Joey coming at you on a Monday morning. Nothing but assholes and elbows.
American woman, get away from me.
What up, you filthy fucking animals? Rudy Sarzo here. Syatt, what's up,
¿Qué
beautiful?
pasa, Uncle Joey?
You know, bro, putting the pieces together every fucking day and don't stop. And on top of everything, I got to raise a 4-year-old at my age. Jesus fucking Christ. How are you?
Bless. As a matter of fact, you were just playing American Woman. I just became the permanent new bass player in the band, the Guess Who. So
Look at you. That's why
I've
I
been-
did it.
yeah,
Out of respect for you.
Yeah, I've been touring a lot and just having a blast.
When you first went on, it was just a temporary basis to see if
Well,
it fit.
what happened was that the original bass player that you hear on that song, Jim Cale, had not retired fully. You know, he had not made the decision yet, so he finally decided to retire, at least for a while. You know, and so he passed me the torch, saying, "Okay."
And how many weekends are you doing a month with them?
We do about at least 3 weekends a month.
Jesus Christ.
So it's like, you know.
So it's just Friday and Saturday?
No. I mean, we do about 10 shows a month. Yeah.
Do you ever get bored playing music, or you're like, I wish I didn't have to play music this week?
No.
You must have been doing it for what, 40 years, something, 50? Like it's crazy.
It's like eating, breathing, having sex. You know, you never get bored of that. You know.
You know, I always thought, I'll do comedy till I'm 50. And then you're just too fucking old. You know, you're just too fucking old. Who wants to listen to some guy with white hair crack fucking stupid jokes? And here I am, 54. And I always say to myself, you know what, next year's going to be the last year. Then Ron White comes on, he's 60. He goes on the road every fucking weekend. You know, and now you see these music guys that are all coming back. They're no fucking spring chickens. And they're fucking banging it out. So you're like, I don't know what to do. I live in hell. You know, you decide not to go on the road. I couldn't see my life without going on the road. I think my head would blow up being here all the time now.
Yeah.
It's been too long that I've been taking these little comedy vacations. That's why it's even hard for me. Like, I don't want to sound ungrateful. When I have these home weekends, they bother the fuck out of me. Because I still have my life around these comedy shows. When I'm on the road, it's just about comedy for 24 hours.
Yeah, I know.
I'm laying in a hotel room and I'm just worried about fucking comedy. It's like if you had to do the Pomona grounds and then San Bernardino, you're fucking home. So you still got to walk your dog. You still got to go to the supermarket. You still got to fucking take a shit. When you're on the road, you're on the fucking road, Jack. You roll a joint, you watch Gangland, you know what I'm saying? You take a nap.
And I get that you do it for your family, but that's why I don't, like, when you have a weekend like this weekend when you're in Ontario, it's like I almost expect you to stay near because it's like an hour drive, hour and a half each way.
No.
That's a long
I
drive.
can't fall asleep knowing that I'm an hour and a half away. I used to do it all the time. Set up the sleep apnea machine, lay down, and at 2 o'clock go, what am I fucking crazy? I'd rather spend the day with my wife, even if we just go to the farmer's market in NoHo and get a watermelon juice and one of those Filipino chicken sticks that are really somebody's cat, somebody's pigeon that's missing. Some magician is missing a white dove somewhere, and these guys are selling those little fucking sticks on the corner. I'd rather do that than sit in a hotel room all day when I'm an hour away from my family. That's me. But when I gotta get on a plane, I go into a different mode. Yeah. And I know you said something to me early on that I did it because of you. Now I always like saying like a little prayer to myself as I'm walking out the door. God, bring me back in the same shape I walked out this fucking door on Sunday, and that's it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because to me, every time I go out that door, it's about the trip coming back home.
Yeah, that's it.
You know, and make sure that I come back home. You know,
With an envelope, you did a good show, you had a good time, like everything. My whole problem with the road, like let's say this time, I came back on the 12th of August, and I'm not going out to the 15th of September. I'm gonna work. I still got tons of work, but I don't have to get on the plane. That week before I get on the plane, I'm fucking miserable. I gotta get on this fucking plane.
The whole week?
I'm gonna quit doing comedy after this weekend. I'm fucking done. This sucks ass. As soon as Lyft picks me up at my house in the morning, that little Lyft guy, it all goes out the window. I got a little anxiety when you hit the 405, but after that, you're like, I'm going to work. Who's better than me? I got a job. I'm fucking doing stand-up. It doesn't matter. Like, nothing matters. What else would I be doing? Painting a house? I'm going to fucking perform. 20 years ago, this was a dream. I would sit in my room at night crying, writing all the cities I was going to play at when I got good at comedy. And now I'm fucking doing it. What am I upset about? And I get into a great mood. I eat a couple stars. I get on the plane. I start mingling. I put my iPod in. I put in fucking Diary of a Madman. And 2 hours in flight, you can't wait to land to go do fucking comedy, you know? You miss your family. You miss your loved ones. But you go, what the fuck was I going to do at home? Sit there and watch TV and talk about it's going to be hot next week. It's going to be 109 next week. No shit, we got to do this. Get the fuck out of here. I admire you, Rudy. You're still out there. But that's, we were talking about earlier about the doctor we told you about, that he told us that most of the people he had was musicians at that age. That's why you look great. I asked you if you lifted weights. You said you don't like to strain yourself. The bass player is the heaviest thing you want to pick up.
No, I do lift some weights, but it's nothing, over.
Yeah, you don't go in there to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I'm not trying to Hulk out, because what happens is I travel. So when I travel, what I do yoga, but extreme yoga, in my room, just to get my blood pumping and getting ready for the show, because you just don't want to go out there and kind of like be half asleep, when you hit the stage. You want to be pumped up, So I think on the road, yoga is the best thing for me to do that.
I usually hit the fucking gym and do the elliptical and lift a little couple weights and do push-ups and sit-ups just for the same reason. Like today I wanted to go to jiu-jitsu, but I knew that I have the long drive this afternoon, so you get all tight. So when you leave jiu-jitsu and you sit down, I can't recover from that. My knees start to hurt. Like when I fly, I got to take an aisle seat, but on the right side of the plane, so I could stretch out my left knee. If not, my knee gets fucking stiff, Like there's all these little ailments that you have and all these things that you learn as you go along. And wait a second, if I go work out for 2 hours, like yesterday, I had to work at night. And I had a long drive. So what I did was I just boxed. I hit the bag a little bit. I didn't do nothing that had my legs involved in. I did all the heavy steel bat stuff. I did some curls, a lot of push-ups, a lot of sit-ups, a lot of crunches, all that shit. But no squats, no kettlebells, nothing that involved bending that much.
Speaking of fights, what do you think about the upcoming fight?
Well, by the time they fucking hear this, they'll know. So
I know, but
What do I think? What do I think is going to happen this weekend? or last weekend, I don't know. I really could not put a pulse on this fight.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how it actually, got sanctioned to happen.
Well, it got sanctioned because the state of California gets 8% of every ticket sold.
Nevada.
So they're
Even-
making money too.
even though it's
Nevada's
fought in
making
Nevada.
money, yes.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who had problems with this fight.
Yeah.
A lot of people. The only reason why this fight is happening is because of his MMA and whatever. They felt
His
that
star
he would be
power.
prepared. No, that he would be prepared. But they're really scared that Mayweather could hit him hard in the head. Mayweather's a fucking assassin with his hands.
Yeah.
It's a narrower game. I felt that what's his name?
McGregor?
McGregor,
Yeah.
he's been working on all aspects of his game for 10
Yeah.
or 15 years. This guy has just specifically worked on boxing. Now, for years, there's been critics that have said that boxing and MMA boxing is two different fucking worlds, which it actually is.
Yeah.
But, listen, I'm not a boxing enthusiast like I was when I was a young kid.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what's going on, but I just didn't like this fight for personal reasons. That was it. I didn't like this fight because it kind of halted the UFC for this fight. It put a lot of other young fighters at whatever. That's it. I just have my own personal beliefs. I don't care if people watch the fight or not. I had taken the week of work before the fight was announced, so it didn't mean anything to me. It's not like I'm going to cancel the fucking fight. If I cancel Saturday night, it's because my friend's dad died last weekend, and they're going to bury his dad on Sunday. I would take a plane just to be with him and his sister if I did anything. But it didn't affect me. I don't know why at all. I didn't react to it at all. I have other things on my plate, I think.
Well, I mean, Rudy, you must have, as being on the road as much as you've been, like, do you even get excited for, like, events anymore? Like, you almost can't because you have to miss 90% of them, like Super Bowls, whatever. I don't know exactly what you're into, but whatever that you're into, you must miss 90% of it.
Events such as the Super Bowl, any organized sports, I'm not really a fan anymore like I used to be when I was younger, because back in the day when I was a kid, it was all about the sport. Now it's all about the money. Free agents and the agents getting involved and all these incredible deals that usually what happens is when an athlete gets paid so much money, they never come up to their expectation. That to me is the kiss of death. You hear about, this athlete got paid, like the highest ever in their sport, and all of a sudden they start sucking. I don't know if it's a psychological or a actual economic, situation that they get themselves into, because now they have all these different responsibilities to come up with, So I think that is bad for the sport, for sports, for the game itself. This whole fight, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like a sprinter going against a marathon runner. If this fight goes over 4 rounds, which I don't think is going to go, McGregor has never gone over 4 rounds boxing. This is a stamina that you build through your life. When you're a kid, you start training for going 10 rounds at
So
least.
it's 3-minute rounds?
Yeah, it's 12
3
3-minute rounds.
So it's 12 3-minute rounds.
Yeah.
So that's basically 36 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they fight in the UFC, it's 25 minutes.
Right.
Which he's never really done, only once, really, maybe with Diaz. They went to 5 rounds, and people criticized it about his stamina or something like that. Like I said, man, it's so weird how you grew up liking sports. You really enjoyed sports. You couldn't wait till 2 of your teams get together. And for me, Rudy, it was about 26. At 26, life got in the way.
Yeah.
Life just got in the way, brother. And it went from watching all day Sunday to then whatever. But I'll never forget when I was really down and out in '84, I was forced to sit at a bar all day, because that's where the action is. You gotta sit at the bar, people come in, they got 100 Quaaludes, they got a pound of pot, you gotta be there. And I used to always ask myself on Sunday, even at that point in my life, how the fuck do you sit here all day? From 10 in the morning and watch football till, and in those days, there wasn't no Sunday night game yet. Sunday night games were on ESPN very rarely in those days. There were like 4 Sunday night games a season. It was all day, and then the anticipation was for Monday night.
And then how many games? Wasn't it 14 games too? Wasn't it a shorter season?
Yeah, it was 14 games. They didn't really. The 17 games is for Vegas to get bigger.
Right. Yeah.
That's what the 17 games was for. You know, when I was a kid, gambling was big on Monday Night Football, and your gambling week ended then. Then you had Tuesday and Wednesday for basketball, and you paid the bookie on Thursday. But your week ended on Monday. But there was really no action, really. If you didn't bet sports, if you're a purist and you just bet football, there's really no action for you until Friday, until Saturday.
Unless you're playing high school, yeah.
Then they said, fuck that. They had college. Remember, they used to have college on Thursdays. Then they said, fuck that. We're putting pros on. Fuck college. So they would alternate, like college and pro. So you could actually see the pattern develop. They did Thursday. They started with you, the bookmaking. Saturday, you got all day in college, with the last game being Hawaii at 4 in the morning. That's what the cokehead gamblers bet, Hawaii. Because they'll be up all night anyway, snorting coke, watching Hawaii. Everybody knows that. When you call a gambler on a Saturday night that does coke, ask him what he's doing. I'm watching Hawaii. They're my salvation, because everybody, there's always this, the gambling mind believes that people who go play football in Hawaii don't go to Hawaii and play football. If they go to Hawaii, they get caught up in the beauty, and Hawaii beats the fuck out of them. Hawaii has the worst team.
I know, I was going to say.
So you sit there and you bet Hawaii. Like, you actually bet Hawaii getting 38 points at home. And you'll sit there going, they better not lose by more than 35. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was Hawaii. And then Sunday, you wake up early and you have football. So what did they do? They added Thursday, and they added Sunday night, the family night, the game of the week, that 4 o'clock, 7 p.m. game.
And they have a couple of them too now. They'll have a couple Monday night games sometimes.
And then they have Monday night games. They learned how to get the most out of the system. I love fucking everything. You know, I like watching football. I like watching baseball, you know. Now it's changed for me. Now I watch football December and January. I watch baseball in September. There's nothing more beautiful than baseball in September and October. Nothing more beautiful in this country than baseball. Have you watched a documentary about the Cuban brothers?
No.
You know, the 2 that defected? Come on.
Which ones?
El Duque.
Duque, yeah, of course.
Did you see the documentary?
No, I haven't
the
seen
30
it.
for 30?
Yeah.
Come on, dog. Come on. You got to see that.
Where
ESPN, the brothers in arms, they show the first brother come, and then he fucking played for the Marlins, and they won a World Series. And then the other brother got shunned by the Cuban government. They would throw eggs at his house. They would stop him and shake him down. They took him off the baseball team. He was only allowed to play in sandlots. And then he defected. You know, the boat didn't show. You got to watch this, dog. They were ready to take him back. And that agent showed up, Joe Cubas, and got him to somewhere where there was no extradition treaty, because Jamaica or the Bahamas has an extradition treaty with Cuba. He got him out of there. And then he brought El Duque up to fucking the Yankees. But the whole time he had to leave his daughters in Cuba. So his kids were getting tortured and shit. So finally he's pitching in the World Series. It's game 4 against San Diego when they swept him in 1990 something. I don't know exactly. They had just won, and some lady, they had kept trying to get his daughters out. They kept trying and trying and trying to get his daughters out, and the mother, they had no way to get it. And they called this lady in Washington, and she goes, you know what, my mother instincts came back to me. I felt for what they were saying. She goes, I knew one connection to Castro, and it was a bishop. She goes, I called him up, and I told him he had to get on a plane that night to Cuba. And some State Department guy wrote a letter to Fidel explaining the situation at El Duque. They thought he was going to say no. And the guy, when the Archbishop walked into Fidel's headquarters, he was actually watching the fucking World Series, man. That's how fucking, you know what I'm saying? Here's a commie watching the World Series. Like, he was into it. Like, he was cheering for El Duque. And the Archbishop gave him the letter. He looked at it. And he goes, you know what? The guy's a savage. put his daughters on a fucking plane. And they told El Duque in the fucking dugout in San Diego. He got in the plane, went right to Teterboro, New Jersey, and you could stand there and look at the plane come in. Oh my God, tremendous, dog. Brothers in Exile. That's the name of it. Oh,
check it out.
shit. Oh, shit. And they showed the two brothers hugging, and he goes, "You got any advice for your brother?" Now that he's here from Cuba, he goes, "Stay away from McDonald's." Fucking tremendous. Tremendous. Oh, yeah. No joda con McDonald's. Tremendous.
You know, the Castro tried out for the Yankees,
Yes.
you know, to be a pitcher.
Or the Senators.
Fidel Castro?
The Yankees or the
Fidel,
Senators. Yeah.
Fidel.
God,
So-
how come all these terrible people have like nice dreams? Like Hitler wanted to be a painter, Fidel wanted to be
Hitler tried out for the Knicks. He was too short. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
You want it?
Yeah, he wanted to be a Knickerbocker, but Red Holtzman wouldn't take him and shit. It was against his religious beliefs.
And that's where he learned to hate the Jews.
That's
in
where
New
he
York?
learned to hate the Jews in New York and shit. No, you're an interesting dude, Rudy. When I was talking to you on the phone the other day, you were telling me you were at this fantasy camp, and I had it all confused. I thought it was the camp where you guys get together with kids and they play in a band. But then you were... How many of these do you do a year?
Yeah, we do about 8, and I've been doing them for like almost 10 years now. This is the deal. The birth of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp is from a former sports agent, David Fishoff, and he saw the baseball fantasy camp as a model for the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp. You know, having everyday people joining your sports heroes, playing with them, right? So the whole thing about Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp is basically the same, but except that with sports, you have guys who are retired. They're older, in fantasy camp, the sport, baseball fantasy camp. Whereas with Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, you got people that are actually active, touring musicians. For example, we have one coming up in about, September 16th, and it's Judas Priest. And it's everybody from Judas Priest, Rob Halford,
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, that's right. Happy birthday, Rob. And, Scott Travers and Richie and the original bass player, Ian Hill. Everybody except Glenn Tipton. They all come. And
Why is Glenn Tipton not coming?
I don't know. He's never been to the camp, But the rest of the band, it's fine because,
KK Dowling show?
No, KK's not in the band
No
anymore.
more,
Richie,
right.
Richie Faulkner is in the band. And what they do is that we go to the Whiskey down here on the Sunset Strip, and we play. And they play with every single camper on stage at the Whiskey A Go-Go. They do one song, one Judas Priest song with everybody. So they get to perform if there's 15 camps. A camp is actually a band. They'll play 15, with 15 different bands. The band and Judas Priest together. And it's an amazing, fun experience.
That is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is nuts. I mean, and this, Judas Priest is getting ready to release a new record, so it's not like they're retired, or...
How old is he today?
I think it's 66.
When I saw that this morning,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and Gene Simmons, too. I think he's 68.
It's his birthday, too?
Yeah.
Listen, I can't believe Ace Frehley's 65, and he's putting out a new album.
Yeah.
And he's going to go out on the road, too.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I said,
the Guess Who? We have a new record coming out. It's already done, finished. Right now, we're just going through the process of, putting it out with the record company and doing the promo pictures and everything that we're going to do next week and all of that. It's a process.
Unbelievable. Did you think when you were playing with Ozzy that you were going to be playing when you were fucking in your 60s?
I didn't even think
about it.
No, I don't even think about the last note that I'm going to play. I don't know. I don't think about it. I can't. It's not that I can't. It's just that why? Why should I think about it? It's like, what do you think is going to be the last joke you're ever going to say?
I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Well, it's we're here to live, not to sit around thinking about dying.
I mean, I sit here the other day, way before July, like in March, I was sitting there one day. One night, when I picked up the phone, I called Dean. I go, Dean, Hold on 1 second. Before I say something to you, I don't want to be an asshole. I went online, I pressed an Appetite for Destruction. Because I remember the season, the summer I got sentenced. I got sentenced in 88. And that whole summer in the afternoons, I would get home at 3 and put on MTV. And sit there like a Momo. And I would sit there till Sweet Child of Mine would come on. And Slash was tremendous on it. And yeah, I go, that's right, that's 88, that's next year. But that album came out in 87. Let me check and see. Sure enough, fucking 30 years ago, July 20th or whatever was the release of Appetite for Destruction. And here's the crazy thing. They're still on the fucking road.
Oh, yeah.
That's the crazy thing. When Elvis released Love Me Whatever in 55, you didn't see that fat fucking 85 jumping up and down on stage. He was dead, Jack. These guys are fucking still alive, and that's great. Not only that, they're still out and performing 3 nights a fucking week, 4 nights a week.
Did musicians always do that? Or did my mom, when she grew up, or her favorite, from the, or not her, maybe her parents from the 20s or 30s and the 70s, were they playing? Or were they not touring?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, let's say Miles Davis, he played until the day he died. Buddy Rich, these are guys that were not retired,
Sinatra was up there with a wig, with a teleprompter.
I saw him.
Forgetting his words, singing the songs backwards. But it didn't matter. He was still I saw him too in 84. He was fucking brilliant.
I saw him. As a matter of fact, I went with Sam Kinison. He was performing, and he had a night off. With Sam, we used to play. He used to bring musicians, and remember he had that record deal. And
Wild Thing.
I played on that.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm on the video too. So we were in Las Vegas. I think it was Caesars, and he says, "Hey, let's go and see Frank." So his wife or girlfriend, I don't think they were married yet, Malika and Sabrina and my wife Rebecca, me, and we just went there and we sat and the curtain opens up and it's Frank and he's just standing there, and I thought, wow, is he dead? Because he just didn't move. And then all of a sudden the orchestra goes into Fly Me to the Moon, and he opens his mouth and it's like magic, man. It's just fucking unbelievable.
Fucking magic.
Yeah, it was like, holy shit.
I was 21, and I just went. I didn't like that music all in all at that age. At 21, it's tough to go from Judas Priest, whatever, to that night. Said, let me just go. And it was just fucking marvelous. When he sang My Way, your fucking guts come out. Your guts come out. Because he means every fucking word of it. Like, his ego just meant every word of it. Like, I could just tell. That special they had on him on HBO. Did you watch that? Fucking brilliant. Yeah. Just brilliant shit, man. Those guys are from a different fucking cut,
I grew up playing and listening to a lot of different styles. When I was in a top 40 band, we played anything. We had to play whatever was top 40. It could be My Way, not My Way, but You're Having My Baby, Paul Anka. And then turn around and play Smoke on the Water. You had to make it work, because that's what the club owner wanted you to play. You want to play top 40, whatever's on top 40. So I really learned to really appreciate what I always looked for in music, which we had a lot of that in the 60s and 70s, was honesty in the playing and the singing. And the music itself, lyrics. If you listen to any of the Burt Bacharach, Hal David songs, it's just, man, it's unbelievable. It's a lesson on how to write a song. It's incredible. Listen to Alfie. It sounds goofy, but if you really listen to the lyrics, it's just amazing stuff.
Were you a Beatles guy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Did they change your world completely?
From day one, and I was on a plane, and you're like going around trying to find something interesting to watch, and I came upon this, what's his name, Ron Howard's documentary on the Beatles, 8 days a week. And it, in my mind, I always go back to that 13-year-old kid that saw the Beatles for the first time when I was, with my folks and my little brother, sitting in the living room with our TV dinner trays, watching Ed Sullivan and the Beatles come on, and it just changed my life, And I thought, wow, it changed my life because chicks were screaming at them, and I said, I want that. I want that you know, to be noticed, because I was pretty invisible when I was a kid. I was just some fat little kid, and you know, back in the 60s, you know, being overweight and being a kid just was bad. It was not a good thing, you know. And so I was like, you know, girls didn't want to have anything to do with me. And I thought, wow, becoming a musician, that's going to give me some sort of significance. You know, I'm a musician now. I am somebody, you know, and I'm going to have girls screaming at me and stuff. But now, you know, 40 years later or 50 years later, I look at the documentary and I go, man, what really got me about the Beatles, and I did not realize it, was that they were badass. They were so incredible live, which I think they were handcuffed a little bit when they went in the studio, and you really didn't get that sense. Maybe on the first record, because from the first record they had just come off, you know, playing in Hamburg, doing like, you know, 10 shows a night, whatever, you know, playing for hours. They would do like play in the afternoon, they would come back and play at night. You know, that's all they did. And that's captured. It's raw. You know, if you're listening to Money, you know, that was like the last song that they recorded for that session, you know, Money, you know. And there's it's an urgency, and they're badass, and they're just like, you know, playing through it like with everything they got, you know. And I watched the documentary, and this documentary has different angles. You can actually see Ringo. Ringo was a badass drummer, man. He was just like lean in over his snare and just like bash away and play like. Then they have a PA system like we have today. You know, they have to be heard over the screaming girls with no PA system, no monitors, nothing. The harmonies were perfect. These guys have no in-ear monitors, nothing. You know, like all these people, you know, complain nowadays, oh, my in-ear monitor went out and I can really sing, you know, on a Grammys or something. No, the Beatles, that didn't matter. They just went out there and they did it, and it was just McCartney. I'm looking at the documentary and I go, okay, when is he going to look at the neck of his bass when he's singing? Zero. He just played away, and he was playing badass stuff. I mean, to me, a Beatles song is like a bass lesson. You know, it's just amazing, and it's like perfect, and it's just like orchestrating all these bass parts. It wasn't like, you know, just being, you know, playing bullshit up there. Yeah, the guy was so incredible. He still is incredibly musical. But, you know, to have somebody, you know, to have a band full of badasses. George Harrison, he was like 16 years old. It was like kicking ass on, you know, playing lead guitar. It was like, holy shit. You know, and of course Lennon, you know, genius. You know, all these guys, and you think, well, there's going to be a whole country full of guys like this. Yeah, there were, but I don't think anybody compare to the Beatles. The Beatles really were at the very top, and then everybody else just follow them. You know, different bands had their, you know, strengths. Like the Stones there were more R&B, more bluesy than the Beatles were. Beatles were more pop, and then they became experimental, you know, with Revolver and on to Sgt. Pepper and stuff like that. And you know, you had the Kinks, you had the Who, rock opera. Who the hell came up with that? That was brilliant. Nobody had ever done that. Have you ever read the book, Pete Townsend book?
No.
Yeah.
No.
And it was having to do with their managers. You know, they really talked them into taking music to the next level, because their managers were they were cinematographers. And they saw Pete Townsend's contribution to music as more like a script or film, you know. And so they talked him into writing a rock opera, which was Tommy, you know. And in the book, you know, Pete talks about that from that point on, every single piece of music he wrote had a purpose, a direction. It had it was not just a bunch of songs thrown together. It had an arc, on a story, a statement, everything, you know, which is totally different from the average band, you know, going out there and making an album. You know, we used to make albums based on snapshots. You know, it's like it's a snapshot of where you're at today as a musician. Your life is. This is what you sound like, this is what you look like, which later on with MTV, it was accompanied with video. You know, so those are slices of our life, you know. That's why I always looked at best of records a little bit more like a collection of pictures through a certain period. You know, like let's say it's a 10-year collection of your music. It's like pictures. You know, it's a little bit disjointed, but it's a representation of what your growth as a musician.
That makes a lot of sense. Even with comics. Even when we put
Tell
out
me
CDs.
about it. Yeah.
I listen to the Blue album and I want to jump out a fucking window. But I could tell when I was listening to the Blue album, I could hear the cocaine in my soul. Like it was fucking crazy. Live at the Queen of Clubs,
3 Clubs.
whatever, I could hear the cocaine in my soul. It's You or the Priest, to me, was the best thing I ever did. It was loose. There was no safety net. There was nothing. I was very happy at that time. Like, I was just having a good time. Lee and I were just starting to hang out. We were making videos. There was no real tickets being sold. It was just us having fun, and that you could feel it. The eating pussy with asthma is just god-awful. It's a reflection of what was going on at the time, which was I was overwhelmed. You could hear the overwhelm in your voice. You got too much going on, and there was nothing going on. Do you know what I'm saying? There was too much going on, but there was nothing going on. Savage Dad, I grew a little bit. I could hear the growth a little bit. Still not my best work, but I could feel the happiness from having my daughter around. I just heard it on a plane a few weeks ago. It's one of the few ones besides It's Either You and the Priest I can listen to for longer than 4 minutes. I think You and the Priest is like 8 minutes. Savage Dad is like 6 minutes. Eating Pussy with Asthma goes off within 8 seconds. I mean, you could just hear the confusion in my voice that early.
Were you working with a record label at the time?
No. Just me and Lee fucking around.
Just you guys. You know, that's really amazing because, you know, putting out a quality recording like you were just talking about. With back in the day, we had to go through a system. The system basically was if you were signed to a label, you were assigned an artist relations person, which meant that the person picked your material. He came over to your rehearsal and said, "Okay, let me hear what you guys got for the new record or your first record." So if it's your first record, it means that you've been working on songs for the last maybe 2 or 3 years. So you get like maybe 40 or 50 songs to show, you know, the artist relation guy. And then he will look at it as how many singles can we get out of these guys, because that's how they make the money.
Absolutely.
The money, you know, longevity and all that. Because back in the day, record companies did not have a piece of your merchandise and did not have a piece of your touring. It was all based on how many records they're going to sell. That was it. You know, today's different. And then if they didn't feel like they had about 4 possible singles, they would say, okay, I'm going to bring in an outside writer. So, you know, somebody who has already had hits with other bands that needed help in the songwriting. And it's your first record, you know, or the A&R guy will also bring a song. He says, well, listen, I got the song, either a remake, you know, for example, like in Quiet Riot, it's a Come On Feel the Noise was a remake of a Slade song, you know, and or something that he's working with a publisher, you know. A publisher it's an agent basically for songwriters, independent writers. They go to a publisher, and then the publisher gets together with record company A&R guys, artist relations, and it says, if you can find a band to cover the song, you know, we could have a hit. So record company is looking for a hit. The publishers and songwriters are looking to place that song to be a hit with a band. A band is looking for a hit because, you know, there's nothing like getting your music played on the radio. So people come to your shows, and if you got a hit, then you become a headliner, which is ultimately what you want. You know, you're an opening band for a certain amount of period, but if you become known as a perennial opening band, you're screwed, because you're never going to get to be the headliner, and that's where the big bucks are, you know. And so beyond that, you have promotion people, you know, radio promo people going to radio stations and doing payola, whatever. Yeah, payola did exist. Then you had the guy that was then working with the video, you know, the video side of your music, you know, finding the right director with a storyboard to complement your music, and having that person bring in a stylist, because all of a sudden, you know, you have to have an image. You know, like this is before no image was an image. This is, you have to have an image, you know. And
so, not to interrupt
No.
you. So, Come On Hear the Noise.
yeah,
You could tell by the time you got the White Snake, all that shit was in place already. Image, all that stuff.
but me personally,
Right. No. The band. That band.
Oh no.
had-
Well, Whitesnake was another band. You mean
Right. No.
you mean
I
Quiet
know.
Riot? Yeah.
I'm saying when you were, there was a huge change from Quiet Riot to White Snake when it came to metal. Now they knew what direction they were going. When you guys did Come On Hear the Noise and the other one
Yeah.
from that album,
Yeah.
those were videos. When you were in White Snake, you could tell that everything was. I even think your outfits were even handpicked for you. Like, they were so perfect, those videos. In The Skill of the Night,
Yeah.
the one with Amy Katine.
Yeah.
There was like 3 or 4 videos that
Yeah.
White Snake had. I think White Snake, when you were in White Snake, the 2 albums,
I played on Slip of the Tongue.
Slip of the Tongue.
Yeah.
That one album
Yeah.
was, the videos were brilliant.
Yeah.
The videos were,
That
it was
was-
at the right time. They had just
Yes.
really figured out
Yeah.
how to promote.
Yeah.
Before that, look at Breaking the Law. It's a bunch of
Yeah.
idiots going into a bank and,
I know.
and KK with a
know.
guitar. You know,
Yeah, I know,
they were
yeah.
like goofy
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
Come On Hear the Noise started with the guy, Do You Hear Me? You know, all that guy from Animal House. Whitesnake. Da-da-da-da. I mean, all those videos were storyboard,
Yes.
A to Z. They knew how to do it. Somebody even came and picked your shoes for you with the colored socks. Like,
That's a really good observation. Actually, it's an
I
outstanding
can see it. I
observation.
can see it. You
'Cause
can
let me
see
tell you
it.
what happened.
Yeah.
I got a phone call from John Kaladner, which was the artist relation person for Geffen. And there's a backstory to my relationship with Whitesnake that predates me joining the band, because Whitesnake was the opening band for Quiet Riot in 1984, you know, during the Condition Critical tour. So I got to not only meet, I met everybody, and I knew John Kaladner from all the things that I was doing in Los Angeles. And so I got the phone call. I was playing with Tommy Aldrich. We were trying to do our own project, and they called us up, and it says we were actually invited to play on the record, but we declined, and that's a whole different story, on the 87 record, a couple of years before it got finished. So going back to 1987, now, which is like 30 years ago it came out, you know. We get the phone call, and Kaladner says, listen, David wants you to come in and, you know, be part of this video that we're doing for the new record. And it was Still of the Night. And they sent over a stylist. This lady came in, her name is Fleur, very top shelf stylist at the time. And she went through my closet. And she started picking stuff out, you know. And he said, okay, bring this to the video shoot. And that's what you see me wear on that video shoot. By the time that configuration of Vivian Campbell, Adrian Vandenberg, Tommy Aldrich, and David Coverdale and myself, we became officially a band. Then Fleur started making outfits for us. You know, like now, we're not going through your closet anymore. So for Here I Go Again and It's Just Love, they were shot back to back. Like one day we finished one, and then we came back the next day and we did the other video. Those clothes that you saw, they were actually made for us, you know, specially made for us. And then we took them on the road with us. So yeah, the record company had, not only that, management had a huge part. Trudy Green, our manager, you know, she would go to photo sessions with us, and we were like, you know, posing, and she would like move us around and tell the photographer, Niels Lozar, okay, this is what I'm looking for. And when you would do a photo session, the strategy was to do one that you're going to have different looks. that will carry you hopefully through a whole year of touring. So you don't have to break from touring to do a photo session, because that's, everything is planned ahead. And it's positive thinking. It's not like, well, maybe this is going to happen. No, you're going to be successful. And these people are going to make sure that you become a success. There's a certain machine behind all of these superstars that you see. A lot of smart people that make all the right moves for you. That's the way that it used to be back in the 80s and even 90s, until, illegal downloading started happening.
Well, even the peak of it, I thought, was the marketing they had done for Guns N' Roses.
Mm-hmm.
On like Volume 1 and 2. Like, those videos were $1 million videos. That was the peak of it.
Geffen, yeah.
Biggie
Geffen.
Smalls, 95, 96, Hypnotized with the boats and the bitches on the boats.
Yeah.
It's a big difference from the video for not NWA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at NWA's videos. They were nothing. They were made for $10.
Yeah.
They just told a black pool party. But look at the videos for fucking Tupac and your mentor there. What's his name?
Suge Knight.
Suge Knight.
Yeah.
When they did the set from Road Warrior, Mad Max, and they were all yelling. By that time, those videos were up to $1 million. No, all those fucking Guns N' Roses videos were $1 million.
Yeah.
Slashed by the fucking
ours
church.
were pretty expensive too.
Yeah, yours were pretty expensive too. Yeah.
Trudy, with HK Management, she made sure that we got the best, and the best was Marty Callner, director. I mean, he's known for other things besides music videos. Like, as a matter of fact, he's got his own shows on HBO. And he's done live shows from Madison Square Garden and all of that. So he's probably just about the best live director that there is. So our videos were phenomenal.
I never even thought about it before. Is that what music videos are for? Like a marketing tool?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's because Joey and I talk about it a lot. We talk about marketing and all that, and how a lot of people now are very cheap. A lot of people don't want to spend on marketing. They want to hire someone for free to that, and spending hundreds of tens of thousands of dollars on a video that you're never going to see direct money from. So it must be so weird now.
Yeah, and it's non-recoupable. The band actually pays for it from their royalties.
And they're like, if we make a badass video, this album will sell.
Well, all right, let's take Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't cost no 10 cents to make those two movies. Those two videos is why that fucking album sold. Wow. What's $3 million when you're gonna make $35 million?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What's $3 million when you're gonna make $35 million?
No, absolutely, because
it's a fucking nothing. It's part of doing business.
And it was all MTV. That's where you saw it.
Yeah, all MTV.
All MTV. I was telling. Was it? Were you in the car with me or D'Agostino?
Probably D'Agostino.
I still remember staying home to watch a fucking guy. I still remember going to a party on New Year's Eve, and everybody stopping at midnight because they were going to premiere a new video.
Oh yeah.
That's how big MTV used to be.
Yeah.
Like at New Year's Eve, they were going to premiere a video of some fucking guy named Aldo Novo. I never heard of this fucking Aldo Novo before.
Aldo Novo?
But why the fuck would they premiere a video of somebody at midnight on New Year's Eve if he ain't going to be any good? And he shows up, and there's a helicopter, and there's two guys with machine guns, and you hear laser beams, and then Aldo Novo jumps off the stage, and the music is Menza Morti. You're like, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. And all of a sudden he just comes running out of a cloud of smoke, and he starts bobbing with the band. And it was okay. You know him personally now. He's sold 2 or 3 songs like that.
Oh,
now. That's his claim of fame now.
Yeah.
But they would put, how many advertisements did they do? You have no idea what they used to do. I still remember fucking sending postcards into MTV to attend Pat Benatar's wedding in Hawaii. Why the fuck? That's what they were doing. Remember when bands would come to your house and play a show at your backyard?
We did one of those.
Yes,
Quiet
Riot.
Christmas.
There you go.
Freaking Christmas, right? So it's like, wait a minute. We just got off this tour And on that 5 days, which is during Christmas, that I'm gonna have off, I gotta go somewhere in America to play in somebody's backyard.
Can you imagine that, Lee?
No.
So somehow,
That must have been the best concert ever. Like you must have been annoyed, but
You got like $10,000. Quiet Riot came to your house.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
present.
people who won.
I got shit. It was nothing.
It was part of
it
the
was
promotion,
promotion,
Yeah.
right? So, and then the manager calls and says, "Oh, listen, yeah, the winner is some guy in Pacoima, wherever it was. It was driving distance. They say, oh, great, so I can at least spend Christmas with my family and then go to this guy's backyard and play Common Field Noise, because I thought, man, we're gonna be stuck somewhere in
so what
in
came?
Fargo playing somebody.
So MTV, you would send a postcard into MTV. If you won, you would win $10,000, and 100 of your friends would be invited to a pool party with Quiet Riot, personal in your backyard.
Holy shit!
Food provided, everything. It was like a fucking party. And they came to your house, and there was a couple other bands that did it. I forget who else.
We did it.
So
yeah.
what came first, MTV or the music video? Do you remember?
MTV.
Well,
What was the music video?
There were music videos, like
Oh,
the
no,
Beatles.
no, no.
The Beatles
Yeah,
made music.
Yeah, there were music
But a
videos.
whole channel that just played music videos, I mean, that was never done before.
But, all right, MTV was created September of 81.
You remember
Okay?
that?
Yeah, MTV came out September of 81. You guys shot videos for Blizzard of Oz way before 81.
Well, actually, the video that is available on YouTube from a access or cable access station in Rochester, New York, that was not done for MTV, but was actually done to promote the show that we played in Rochester. That was the only real 3-camera shoot we did with Randy, because there was plans to do what is known as Speak of the Devil from Irvine down the road with Brad Gillis. That was supposed to be Randy Rhoads playing on that, but of course, he passed away a few months before that. So the only shoot that we did with actual 3 cameras, you could edit it. That was it. That was it. It was
Mr. Crowley.
Yeah, Mr. Crowley, Out and Out,
Suicide Solution, maybe something
yeah,
like
he has
that.
like 3-4 songs.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw
that one, and Randy and I wrote about it in my book. We walk in there. It's a little room. It's a little bit bigger than this, and there were maybe like 10, 15 people watching us perform, and it was our day off, and we just took it as I turned around to Randy and said, well, thank God nobody's ever going to see this. And it became, it's the only thing that we have, with Randy on it, And we never knew that was going to be our only exposure, to show how the brilliance of Randy,
It's crazy how there were videos, but I had never really seen a music video till MTV. But there used to be a show on USA that also started about 82. If 81 was MTV, USA had a show called Night Flight.
Oh, yeah.
On Friday
Yeah,
nights.
Night Flight, yeah.
And it went from 9 to 6 in the morning, Lee.
Yeah.
What?
And it covered everything.
Yeah.
Art, a movie, a short film, sketches, but they would cover a band. Like the 10 o'clock segment was a band. And they would play videos that you go, wait a second, that's 1976. When they just did the 70s on CNN, they had great videos. They're not really music videos. They were scenes from a concert, like Heart with Crazy on You and shit like that.
We had Midnight Special. That's
right, Midnight Special.
Midnight Special we had in concert, Don Kirshner in concert.
Don Kirshner's rock concert.
Those were brilliant.
Brilliant. Now, did you ever go on there with Ozzy?
No. By then, Midnight Special was gone and in concert too. We did what is the first MTV special produced for MTV, which is Speak of the Devil with us performing live at Irvine. That was actually premiered Halloween 1982.
What did you guys do at the Ritz?
Oh, that's another Speak of the Devil. That's the re-recordings of Black Sabbath live at the Ritz with, again, Brad Gillis, Tommy Aldridge, and Ozzy and myself. that was also, it gets confusing.
It gets
when you,
really
When you
confusing,
name
yes.
two things the same thing.
That's why I'm saying, what the fuck is he talking about her for?
Yeah.
And I had Speak of the Devil from
Yeah.
fucking the Ritz
Yeah.
in New York City.
Yeah.
It's amazing the memory you guys have. I don't know how you remember shows, the name of the makeup artist or the whatever it was, the stylist.
Your memory is brilliant. That makeup artist and all that shit is brilliant.
because I really cherish the blessings of every single step of my career.
Is that why? That's
Yeah.
the same way I look at it too.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like you remember those people for being there
Absolutely.
at that moment.
Absolutely.
But I remember you, like Ozzy's. There was two out. Let me listen. And I'm writing about this now, and I'm thinking of putting this in to this book, like the music, like the chapter's name, and then the songs or music I was listening to.
Yeah.
That 80, 81, it was just fucking that Ozzy album and Pink Floyd The Wall. Pink Floyd The Wall came out in November of 79, right? Something like that. The tour started in February in New York, and those were 3 months that I wanted to shoot myself. Like I wanted to kill myself. Like I was waiting for a train to hit me. But I said, I gotta wait for Pink Floyd. Like I can't kill myself before Pink Floyd. It don't make no sense. I paid $15.50. I can't die before Pink Floyd.
That's a lot of money back then.
Yeah, that was a lot. My mother had died November 8th. The ticket, the Pink Floyd album came out like the 23rd or something, and that kept me alive to February. And then on February, I read an article that Ozzy was done and and he was creating a new album. And then all of a sudden, I went to Bleecker Bob's in the city, and I saw the 4-song EP, and that was more hope for me. And listen, every time I'm in that car and I hear "Nobody ever told me, I found out for myself." You gotta believe in foolish miracles. It's not how you play the game. It's if you win or lose. You can't choose. That's it. That kept me alive another 5 years. Like that kept me alive. That album kept me alive. And then, the Diary of a Madman put me over the top. By that time, he was biting animals. And I was telling these guys, I went to a party once, and my friends had a table and a hammer, and they were breaking glass. And for you to come into the party, you had to eat a piece of glass. Like, when Ozzy started eating animals, it set my town on fire. One Halloween, we went dressed to the thing as garbage. And we all took strings and tied live mice around their tails. We walked into the party with live mice hanging off the garbage, and then we started pulling up the mice. Everybody across the country was eating fucking animals.
No.
Everybody. You go to, everybody was eating a rat's head. More people, after Ozzy bit that fucking pigeon's head off, more people got sick. He created a fucking, then a guy went on David Letterman and said, because Ozzy ate a bicycle.
No, come on.
Remember, he said it took him a year to eat a bicycle.
Listen, we were playing in Lubbock, Texas, and this is after Ozzy pissed on the Alamo.
Right.
So we were getting death threats. The whatever militia, what's in Texas militia was gonna shoot Ozzy on stage, and we were like staying away from him. Every time he would like come over to us, we'd run away from him. And I'm like doing my my things from swinging from one side to the other, and I hear this on stage. I feel it. It just hit the stage, and I look down, and I thought somebody had thrown a baby on stage. It was actually a bullfrog. They have those suckers are huge. Down in Texas, man. They're like baby size, right?
Oh no.
And people were like, bring dead animals to our show, and security would like stop them, and then they would take Polaroids and bring them backstage and say, check out this head of a cow. Oh my God. Like somebody just went to a slaughterhouse, grabbed a head of a cow, and was trying to bring it on the show so they could throw it on stage, so Ozzy could bite it. I was there when Ozzy bit the bat, and again, I'm doing my thing, and I look on the ground, and there's this thing, crumpled up thing, and I motion to Ozzy, hey, check this out, right? So I keep playing, and we do our set. So I did not see him doing the whole thing because I was, head banging, And we're getting off the stage. We just finished the show, and there's an ambulance ready, and they put him in the ambulance and they take him to the hospital. And I go, what the hell is going on? He said, well, Ozzy bit this bat, and he thought it was rubber, and he just bit into it and then realized that it was the real thing and threw it on into the pit, where the audience is. They couldn't find it, in order to test it for rabies. So they gave Ozzy rabies shots. And the tour manager comes in the bus because, we parked the bus right outside the hospital waiting for him to get, to get checked out. And the tour manager goes, hey, can I borrow your camera? I said, yeah, go ahead, take it. Yeah. So he takes pictures of Ozzy and the nurse, hamming it up, getting the rabies shot on his leg, on his thigh, this big nurse, in Des Moines, Iowa. And so, he comes in with this little box and he puts it in the fridge, and I go, what's in that? And he goes, oh, it's monkey serum. I gotta take this every day. So he starts, getting injections on the road, monkey serum injections for his rabies. Yeah.
What is wrong with people? Like, was there a bat flying around in Des Moines? How did a bat end up in Des Moines?
Somebody grab a bat and throw it on stage. Listen, back in the Diary of a Madman tour, we had a little person, Little John, a dwarf, little person, and dressed like a monk on stage. That he would be like the guy who brings Ozzy a towel or a drink or something during in the middle of the show. And he was actually an actor. This guy had been on Blade Runner and a bunch of movies, and and Ozzy used to torture him, and we used to hang him. Well, the crew did during our ballad, Goodbye to Romance. He would be hanging, from a noose.
Oh my God!
Behind the drums, So at the end,
a monk.
A monk, with a robe on and stuff, and he used to drag a bucket of body parts, gizzards and intestines or whatever the runner for the promoter will go to the grocery store and buy just gizzards and chicken livers and whatever and throw in that bucket, and tripe. Tripe was always the best to throw because it was like a lasso. It had distance if you threw that, and a lot of the times it would not defrost by the time that the show ended. So he was throwing out there frozen pieces of liver and gizzards and whatever. And one day, and what happens is, he would start throwing the meat out into the audience during Paranoid, which was the last song. So here, we're rocking out, and there's this dwarf, marching across the stage slowly, throwing, innards, animal parts into the audience, and the audience is ducking. The first 20 rows, everybody will duck, but what goes into the audience comes right back on stage. So you spend the second half of the song ducking body parts again because liver and shit that was coming at you as you're playing. And one time I got hit during a bow because when you take a bow with a band, you guard your arms around the other guys, and everybody goes down at the same time, and everybody comes up at the same time. And I see this piece of liver coming at me as I'm coming up and go, oh shit, bam, got hit right on the forehead.
These are your fans. Why? I don't understand.
They're crazy.
They just got caught in the moment.
Did you ever go to one of these concerts with the meat, Joey?
No, I never. The last Ozzy concert I probably went to was October of '82 at the Meadowlands with Brad Gillis, whatever his fucking name was. That was it. That was
Brad, yeah.
They had the Castle already.
Yeah, '82. Yeah,
that was it. I had gone to the shows at the Palladium in '81 with you guys.
Yeah, I was with Randy. Were you there the first or the second show?
I think I was there on Friday night.
Oh no, there were two shows in one night.
Yeah. I think I don't know what
the early or the light one. Yeah.
But it was just so weird. That was it for me. That was it, and I don't remember any fucking animals or anything fucking clocking me in the head a lot. No. But people are crazy. Listen, man, there's a clip. There's a clip from Don Kirshner's rock concert, Killing Yourself to Live. You know, and I always look at that clip, and there's 3 guys in that concert that was me and my lunatic buddies. We used to make our own shirts. We had a buddy of mine, Mike Askeles, who worked at Levy's Sporting Goods in West New York. So before every concert, he'd give you a shirt. I remember for Suicide Solution, we wore Suicide Solution with a joint in between Suicide Solution. But it was really a line of Coke. But people would ask us what it was, and we'd say it was a line of fucking Coke. What does it say, Lee? You found it?
Yeah, I got it. I have the guys
But
up
if
for
you
it.
look at these fucking lunatics, this was an Ozzy concert. This was a Black Sabbath concert, which he carried over.
Oh, yeah.
Look at those 3 morons. You see those 3 morons? That's me and my buddies with the homemade T-shirts. Ozzy, Tony, Geezer, Black Sabbath has returned. Started right from there. What? But push it up a little closer, like move it up a little earlier. Like more, right there. Watch him. Watch this.
Do you want to hear it?
Look at fucking Iommi, Rudy. Look at him, bro. He was. But wait till you see these 3 morons. That was Joey Diaz and his friends. Look at them. Look at these 3 morons. But wait, they even go even crazier. Watch this. Watch this. Watch these 3 morons. Ready? This is Joe Diaz. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. They almost killed themselves. Look at these 3 guys. They're going fucking apeshit. That's what you had, Lee. People just going fucking nuts, man. Listen to that shit at home, people. This is 40-something years ago. 40-something. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them. And one of them is black. He can't fucking believe it. He's like, I'm not going back home. I'm done. I'm hanging out with white people from now on. Look at them. Watch this one. Watch this one. Look at them. Mira, compadre. They're losing their fucking minds. They still haven't had enough. Look at these 2 guys. That's Joey Diaz. They haven't stopped. Look at them. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Look at them. Look at these 3 guys. Rudy, tremendous. None of these 3 guys gave a fuck. Look at them. You think they gave a fuck about Trump or Hillary? Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He don't give a fuck. Geezer Butler. He don't give a fuck right there. You think Bill Ward gives a fuck? Look at this savage. God damn! Then they came back with Never Say Die, and I don't think it was that good on Don Kirshner's rock concert. I think
I got to tell you, it's guys like you were talking about that makes us musicians, you know, going through. Because it's not about what we do on stage is all the bullshit that we have to go through. As you know, for you to get on stage, all the bullshit you gotta go through for those 1 hour, 75 minutes that you're there. It's that audience that going apeshit that makes everything worthwhile.
Oh my God.
I
would
mean,
lose my mind. I would lose my mind.
You're an entertainer. You know what it's like when the audience is going batshit.
You feed right into it.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
Give you
And
this,
it's like,
give you this weird energy.
yeah,
You're like,
it's.
I can't stop now.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't stop now.
Exactly.
That's what they were doing right there. They
Yeah.
were like, you know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna take these
Yeah.
motherfuckers to the hill. They're gonna leave here going.
And another thing that I took from watching that video again, it's being in the tour bus with Ozzy, having a conversation. Because back in the day, there's no
Twitter,
social
yeah,
media. It's not like a bunch of guys sitting around with their iPads or iPhones, going on Twitter. No, it wasn't like you're stuck in a tour bus smelling each other's farts, and you have to socialize. What else are you gonna do? There's nothing. We had like in television video games, Stickman running across a TV screen. We had VHS cassettes. We had nothing. So you do is you sit around and you talk and drink. If you're into drinking, whatever. So I'm with Ozzy and we go, hey Ozzy, are you ever a Beatles fan? And he goes, yeah man, Beatles have changed my life. The Beatles are my favorite band. And then he goes, yesterday, that was such an easy game to play. And it just sounded so evil. The way that he sang. He could sing Happy Birthday. He would join in. Happy birthday to you. And he's like, holy shit. The clouds start come rolling in. It gets dark in the room.
It could be the happiest song. But he puts the hand of doom on it. He puts the compassion on it and shit.
Yes.
He could fuck up that Jewish song. Hana Kahina Hana. Hana.
Nagila.
Yeah.
Hava Nagila.
Whatever. They won't even want to jump up and down, the Jews. They're like, what the fuck happened? Here, take the envelope back. I'm in no mood for this aggravation. Let me give some shout outs real quick here.
I'm in no mood.
Yeah. Carlton Shackelford, you bad motherfucker. Ryan Donnelly, Letitia Caton, Nick Minano, Derek Winslow, Jordan Kanar, Obar Muscle, you're a good man. Sarah Wilkinson, and my man Pretzel Worst. You know I love all you cocksuckers. Guess what? I got no dates. So I'm off for a couple weeks. September 16th, I'm in Oklahoma at the casino. And then the end of the month, I'm
The
at
Cherokee Casino, I think, right?
I think it's called. And then at the end of the month, I'm at the Pittsburgh Improv in the end of September. That's it. I got a slow month this month. I'm not in the fucking mood. You know what I'm saying? I'm writing. I'm taking care of shit, Rudy. What do you got going on in September?
Gotta give a shout out to my godson, who's one of your biggest fans.
Yes, always.
Vinny Fiallo.
Vinny Fiato, I love
Yeah.
you, Papa. Where are you, in Miami?
In Miami, yeah.
Tell him I'll be in Doral down there.
El Doral?
Yeah, next year.
Oh, that's close, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
down there next year.
Yeah.
There was...
When are you going to be there?
They're going to open up a club, and they just called the other. They say, you interested in opening it? I'm trying to find the 600-seat theater in Miami. That's what I'm trying to find. An 800-seat theater. I could go down there and do 2 shows on a Friday and get it over with and start building this fucking Cuban thing. I want to start building it down there.
Yeah.
I want to start going down there and working on
There's a place called Magic City Casino.
Yeah, I know.
Right
But
there
they
in the
keep
middle,
breaking
like
my
I
fucking balls. They keep breaking my balls about that casino. So let's see what the hell happens. They found one in Fort Lauderdale, but I don't want to play
That's
Fort
too
Lauderdale.
far. No, it's too far.
That's too far
Yeah,
from what I want to do. So it's just been a nightmare lately. But there was something that I really wanted to touch.
Downtown Miami, that would be a good
That
one.
would be
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
I even like that Jackie Gleason Theater.
Oh, yeah. The
I
beach.
just don't
yeah.
know what it seats.
Oh, it's big.
You
It's
know,
big, yeah.
For the last 2 years, we've been losing a lot of musicians. Like just a handful, from Greg Allman to fucking Prince. But this year we lost 2 of them to the same fucking thing, you know. And I remember when you and I first met, we were here in this, I think we were in the other office, and we were talking about how with musicians, comedians, there's a thin line with mental illness, you know. you know, Lee and I had a double day podcast in here about depression. You know, Lee was feeling a little down. Did you go talk to your people today?
Not today. I'm going next week.
Next week. So you didn't go this week?
Not this week.
You fucked up already. So, you know, we're just talking about things. You know, I feel shit different times in my world, you know. I get feelings in my head that are not evil or nothing, but I'm just not feeling what I should be feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, every you find yourself and you're like, why am I feeling like this? I have no reason in the world to feel like this. Why do I feel this way? But this year, we've had two musicians, you know, Chris Cornell, who you hear every fucking day on the radio to rub salt in your wounds. You know, I feel like writing a letter to the radio stations and going, stop playing them for a year, please, a year. Because I can't even get over it, you know. I like the other band, you know, but it's not about whether you like the band or not. The kid still took his life. What a fucking shame. From Lincoln Park. I mean, what the fuck? What? You know, now you're hearing all these stories. They were part of a child pornography ring, and they went in and hung both of them. You know, these fucking people don't stop with the conspiracy theories. You know, they found no obvious heroin in Chris. You know, they found whatever pills he had in his system, you know. I mean, do you have a take on this? Do you feel anything?
Well, the theory behind the child pornography ring was that they were about to uncover. They were about to say who was involved. They were not involved in it.
No.
They were completely against that. You know. Lo siento, San Lázaro. Aquí got knocked over San Lázaro, which is like, I gotta go to church and do some.
You gotta kill a chicken. You gotta kill a chicken when you fuck with San Lázaro. Shit.
So yeah, it's you know, I've worked with people that I'm not gonna name, of course. It's, you know, who've had some mental issues. You know, it's unfortunately, and I think it's not just music. It's entertainment industry, or even in sports. You know, if you're a big money maker, if you as an artist or an athlete generate a bunch of cash for a bunch of people, they're going to keep feeding you and keep you out there for as long as possible, you know, and you basically become disposable to them, you know, because you're gone. Sometimes you even generate more money for them after you're gone. Look at Elvis. Look at Michael Jackson. You know, you know, all of these. You know, it's very unfortunate because it's, you know, I can't judge anybody because it's their journey. We each have our own journey, and I'm not here on this earth to judge people. You know, it's very sad that it happens, and I just hope that it stops very soon. If people are able to offer help. But you know, sometimes when if you're on the road, man, that could be the loneliest place ever. You're in your room all by yourself. Shit start coming through your head. It can be very dark. Very, very dark. Even in the bunk of a tour bus, man. You know, you're traveling and shit going on through your head, you know. Especially if you happen to have mental illness, you know.
You know, it's so weird how years ago I would go on the road and it wasn't about the comedy, Rudy. It was about the cocaine. You know, it wasn't about pussy. It wasn't about seeing friends. It wasn't about the food in Houston. It wasn't about the Chinese food in Florida. It was all about the drugs. Like, I'm going to go down there for 2 weeks. I'm going to make $1,300, and I'm going to come home with $200. I'm going to drop everything else on blow and have a good time. And it's not lonely. It's lonely that morning when you're sitting there and you go, what am I fucking doing, you know? And there's just so many ups and downs to this business that people don't really know about. They see you on your Netflix special, you know, cracking jokes, walking around. They think you leave there and you're the life of the party. I love when women start dating comedians. I love when women start dating comedians and after 90 days they tell their friends at work, I've got this new guy I'm dating, oh my God. And then they all get together and come and see him and they tell her, it must be a barrel of laughs living in the house with this fucking joker. And within 3 years, you see what fucking barrel of laughs it is to live with a fucking comic. And because there's a flip side to that laughter. There's a flip side to that happiness. There's a yin and a yang, you know what I'm saying? And you pay for all of it. And it's the same thing with music, only a different energy. You're putting out music, you're not exposing yourself, which in the way you really are. You know, people are seeing you, they're echando madil, and at the end of it all, everybody goes back to their room, and here you are in your room by yourself. And the party's over. And
Yeah, but I have so much respect for guys like you, Sam Kinison, you know, all my buddies, Jim Florentine, you know, Craig Gass, you know, guys who get up on that stage with basically your dick in your hand. That's all you got. You know, we got amplifiers. We can be louder than anybody. You know, we got lights. We got fireworks. We got big screens. It's just you and a microphone out there. And I couldn't do that. You know, you're bearing your soul to the audience. How do you do that?
I don't know. I sit here and I figured, who the fuck gave me permission to actually believe that I was gonna do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ever ask yourself that?
Who gave you permission?
Like, who gave me permission to think that I was gonna be like? I didn't get the memo that I was gonna be in Ozzy Osbourne's band after he broke up with Black Sabbath. I didn't get that memo. You get it, Rudy? I didn't get this memo about comedy. I never got this thing that this is what it was going to end up like at all. Rudy, when I got into this, it was just to do something with my life. I didn't know anything. I love Richard Pryor, and I love what he stood for. And when he lit himself on fire with the coke, I loved him even more. You know, and then I read the Lenny Bruce book, and I even became more infatuated with becoming a comic.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the heart to get on stage. Come on, this is a great idea. But then I got locked up, and I would go up and fuck with the fucking Invicts during the week. And then I realized this is nothing. This is what I've been doing all my life. There's a part in, what's that movie with Pacino where he plays the football coach?
Oh, yeah. On any given
And
Sunday.
any given
Yeah,
Sunday,
yeah.
he takes Jamie Foxx one time.
Yeah.
He goes, come here.
Yeah.
It's 4:45. Your mother's going to call. Your mother just called you in for dinner. You got one plate left. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
You made the guy run to the Cadillac and hook a fucking right. Same thing. It's the same thing I was doing. I'm 54. You know, it was the same thing I was doing maybe, I don't know, when I was 15 in front of a deli, in front of 12 people. I'm doing the same thing I was doing in the deli. Talking about we went to a party that day. Let me tell you what fucking Rudy did. This cocksucker. No, I didn't. I didn't make up with the chick, you know. He took down a tree and a zip line.
No, I didn't. I didn't take anything down.
Lee got a group on, and that's what I'm saying. Lee didn't take the zip line down. But that's what I would tell my friends, and they would start from there. Yes, you did, cocksucker. And you used the Groupon, and then from there, everybody would chip in. That's stand-up comedy. You're just doing it in front of your fucking friends.
Yeah.
And then the closer would be a chick would walk by, and I'd take my dick out and ask her a question, like some woman. I was like 9, and I would take my dick out and ask her a question, and we ran away. That was the closer. It's the same thing. It was a performance. I've been doing this all my fucking life without even knowing. You didn't even know it. You know, on Fridays in the 6th grade, I used to have to go to the front of the class and sing My Eyes Adored You by Frankie Valli.
Yeah.
Every fucking Friday.
Yeah.
And I actually thought I was Frankie Valli. I brought like a shirt in with an iron collar. It's the things that are right in front of your face that you end up. I just do it in a higher magnitude now. Now I do it in front of 300 people a night instead of 12 people with a fucking delicatessen.
You know, I'll never forget the first day I ever stood on stage as a musician. You know, the first gig. You know, it was in Miami. We used to have this thing called open houses, which was not an open. It had nothing to do with real estate. It was actually some sorority group or some little gang were financed this dance. You know, and so they were hired bands, and that's what the chicks were. You know, it was kind of like a social thing. You know, and we had a band. And I stood on a stage, and it was a proscenium type stage, so there was like an enclosure. And I never seen this before, but I actually saw like an energy, like a shield protecting me from the audience, protecting me because there was some pretty rough kids out there, you know. And once in a while they'll have like a inner fraternity fights, you know, between different fraternities. It'll come in, you know, somebody will get stabbed or shot at. It's Miami, you know, with a bunch of Cubans, you know, back in the 60s. And man, I stood up there and I felt safe for the first time in my life. Safe in a sense I was not going to get emotionally hurt, because I used to get emotionally hurt a lot. You know, first of all, you know, coming from Cuba to the United States, you know, we when we arrived in Miami in '61, they were trying to avoid what eventually did happen, which is the Cubans taking over. You know, Miami was a sleepy little town, you know, tourism in Miami Beach, and that's about it. You know, no real industry except for building yachts. You know, that's about it. And so here comes these Cubans. All of a sudden, it's like, holy shit, how are we going to, you know, hire these people? There's no jobs. You know, that's how we got relocated to West New York, you know. And we became basically undesirables, you know. So I was in the undesirable.
I tell you, were the original Syrians.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we were undesirable because we were Cuban refugees, and then we were I was undesirable because I was a fat little kid in the 60s, and just all in all, I was undesirable. So I was emotionally really beat up, you know, until I started playing music. And, you know, coming from Cuba, you know, people ask me about politics, and I go, you know what, politics, when I was a kid, completely let me down. First of all, you had, you know, we were, you know, I was about 11 years old by the time we left Cuba. And so, you know, at 11, you know what's going on. You know, you see this revolution that just happened, and this guy comes on TV and starts making all these promises, and before you know it, things get really fucked up. And my family has to leave the country and take us. So that was my first real, you know, downer, or, you know, about politics. You know, so we get to the United States, and things are really cool politics-wise. We got Kennedy, and he's really a good, you know, good president, and the country loved him, and he gets shot. Well, that's sucking. You know, there's no stability. Nothing. There's nothing here to protect you. You know, politicians are not going to protect you. Government's not going to protect you. My mom and dad, they're doing their best to take care of me. But this is all unstable, because even somebody that you're rooting for, somebody you really appreciate, that's, you know, that's doing something for the country, they could be snuffed any moment now. You know, it just happened. You know, or this guy can come in and make a bunch of promises and turn out to be a liar. You know, and you got to leave the country. It wasn't until the Beatles came in. That was my salvation. It gave me hope, life. All of a sudden, we got music. Music. You know, music has never let me down. I might have let music down. I could have, maybe a certain parts of my life, I didn't devote myself enough to the craft of music, but it's always been there.
I got no beef with music. Music let me down one time. When I went to see Black Sabbath with Dio, Sammy Hagar was opening up for Shakin' Street. I was never so let down in my life. You understand me? That was one of the worst shows of my life. But I love Dio with Black Sabbath.
Yeah, Ronnie was brilliant.
I love Dio with Black Sabbath.
Yeah. But, you know, it's just once I devoted my and said, okay, this is what I want to do. You know, I came to L.A. and I burned my ship. It was I didn't have any plan B. I was going to do what I am doing. It wasn't like, well, if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be a shoe salesman or whatever. No. I mean, it was a religious experience for me to actually get that call from Ozzy, you know, that changed my life, you know, to do what I'm doing today, because I bring everything else that I've done for the last, since 1981, to that moment. And that's the moment that it happened, changed my life, you know. And even though I have made peace with God and everything, there was no plan B. You know, that was it. I was sleeping on the floor, and I got that phone call. It wasn't like, well, you know, meanwhile, I'm selling shoes at Payless or whatever. No, I wasn't. I was going to be a musician, and that's it. I was a starving musician. You would stop me in the street and say, hey, dude, what are you? What do you do? I am a musician. You know, to me, it just starts with that pre-visualization. I am this. You know, without that, you just don't have any platform to really stand on for what you believe, or you believe that you can be someday.
Listen, Rudy, I told you I had the same problem. When I came here, this was it. This was it. This was it. If something good didn't happen, I was going to go stab my uncle and get on a plane and go to New York and try to sell drugs. That's it. That was it. There was no plan B. I was out of plan Bs. I was out of plan Bs, Jack. You know, I was 28 maybe. When did I get into comedy? 91. So I was 28 years old. I had already been to prison. I already sold drugs. I worked for a printer. I did everything. This was the last ray of hope. And it took me 2 years just to understand the magnitude of what I was getting myself into. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought you went up on stage, somebody walked in and saw you, you got an HBO special, and you were a comedian. That's it. I didn't know that you had to write jokes and stuff. I thought when all those specials you see, I thought somebody would just call you that morning and go, what are you doing tonight? Come on now, we're gonna run a camera, come and do 40 minutes. That's what I thought it really was. And then I realized what the parameters were, how hard you had to work. And again, you have another decision to make, correct? Mm-hmm. When you realize, when you joined Ozzy, when you joined Quiet Riot and shit started rocking and rolling, was a long step from you guys in the garage, dicking around, smoking 3 joints, playing Come Together, or Helter Skelter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. This ain't Helter Skelter no more. That guy in the corner, that's a Jew. And he answers to another string of fucking Jews. And they're here watching you, so you make songs that sell money because that's how you coexist. That's how, you know, it's a different game. Yeah. You've come a long way since that garage. Yeah. For me, it was the same thing. Yeah. I was following line dance classes on a Sunday night at a country western bar, bombing on stage. Here. No, in Boulder and in Denver. I was doing comedy, and that's where I started. And next thing you know, I'm in a 2,000-seat theater opening up for Joe Rogan, you know, opening up for Paul Mooney, opening up for Eddie Griffin, you know, opening up for Dice in Vegas. You know, I went from the one extreme to the next, and now you're like, wait a second. But there's a big moment where you have that doubt. Did you ever have that doubt at all, where you were like, this is what it's going to take? Because when you were already in Ozzy, you had already a little bit of taste of fame from Quiet Riot.
No,
not really. No,
locally, only locally, and that's you know, that's not gonna get you anywhere. You know, you're just a local big fish in a small pond. You know, and the pond was getting bigger and drying up because at that time that I got the call from Ozzy, it was all about new wave and punk here in Los Angeles. It wasn't about rock and roll, you know, rock and roll as we know it or became in the 80s. You know, you have bands like Motley Crue and Rad and Doc and just playing locally or you know, trying to get that break, you know. You know, it was a whole different LA, but it's really interesting that you said the same premise when I came here. And I think that's what LA is. LA is the place where if you got a dream, this is where you come to. You know, you don't go to Fargo to fulfill your dream unless you're a farmer, you know. You come here. So this is what really separates LA from, makes it different from the rest of the country. You know, this is a place where winners and losers all come here for that shot, that one shot, man. This is it. This is a bigger gambling city than Las Vegas because you're gambling with your life, your future. Here, you know, you could lose your money at a table and still make the money again, but to lose your life, to lose your future, who you are, not to really accomplish your dreams, that's the biggest loss you could ever have, ever.
Not to, what was the wording you just used?
Accomplish dreams.
Not to even accomplish your dreams, but not even to go for them. That was my biggest fear. My biggest fear was going, fuck, I had the opportunity to really go down there and do it.
But at least you had a dream. You know how many people I know that don't have a dream. Don't have a dream. They're just happy with, God bless them, because we need everything we need everybody to be different things. But that wasn't us. That wasn't you. That wasn't me. That wasn't the people that have come to LA to make it, And I know people in LA that came here to be musicians. They happened to arrive at the time where the music industry was shutting down, but they had no choice. They came here, and they actually became bigger successes in fields outside of being a musician. I got personal friends of mine who are like huge industry people that you talk to them and say, well, yeah, I came here to LA trying to, get in a band and do this. And they fail at that. But boy, they're like the biggest in their field. That is
Well,
just
that's
amazing.
always a blessing. Look, Lee
Yeah.
came here to be an editor. The day he called me, he was going to apply at a pizza place, and he didn't show up, and somewhere else.
A fundraising thing for like a Democratic or like just a political fundraiser on the phone. I was applying to second jobs because like I wasn't making enough to survive.
And we started as making videos for $100 a week. That's it. I'll shoot a video, you edit it, $100 a week, and we would talk about different things. But if he never would have contacted me, he would have been back in Boston today. Just making the effort sometimes.
Yep, absolutely.
What if happened if he would have gone back to Boston? I started a podcast, and you would have been listening to it now, going, I wish I would have fucking contacted him.
Yeah, I mean, and that's
That was always my biggest fear about anything.
how much thought did you guys put into coming here? Because everything, I think one of my biggest issues in life is overthinking things, and I notice when I just do things off of a random whim, not always, but they tend to go okay. It tends to go better than I thought it would. So like I was just in an office. Like they kept me working for the summer because they were very nice. They loved me, so they were just like, "We'll keep you here. There's nothing for you to do." So I was just hanging out on Facebook, trying to be like look like I was busy. So I would do some things, and then I just wrote you a message randomly.
Everybody growing up wants to do the right thing. We all want to do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? I think the day I made the decision to become a comedian, I let everything go. That was the day I stopped thinking about things. That was the day I stopped worrying about bills. That was the day I stopped worrying about what day it was. It doesn't really matter. You have a mission to do. Shut the fuck up. Get up. Go do it. And that's it. That was the day you... It's a horrible fucking thing. Because you have to suck 20,000 dicks. A woman has to suck 20,000 dicks before she finds a prince. What do you think we do as men? We got to suck 2,000 dicks. We got to work construction, work this, work that, until we figure out what we want to fucking do. But once you do it, and you think about it for maybe a day, and you decide to give it a try, and you stop thinking, and you just do. Thinking is the enemy of man. It's the destructor of man. Once you get thought, and once you start giving yourself obstacles, what if I do lose? You just lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
You just lost.
Yeah.
What if I did?
Yeah.
Well, if I try it and I don't like it, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
You just said the word, if I try it, I don't like it.
Yeah.
You already committed out of it. You're out of there in 3 weeks just because you said that. Just because you allowed your mind to go there. You just quit already 3 weeks from now. It's going to last 3 weeks. It's going to last 3 weeks. I think when I came to LA, I had nothing to lose. I had nowhere to fucking go. I was just a comic. I ended up in Seattle with a stripper. And I thought the goal of coming to LA meant you had to be the best of the best of the best in your field. And it didn't mean that. Just coming here makes you a better person in a way.
Absolutely.
It lifts your level. And then once you get here, it's like anything else. You adapt and adjust. Is that the word? And you fucking run with the ball like you know what you're doing, even though you don't.
Yeah.
That was what it was for me. I ran with the ball, even though I did not know what was going on. You know how much I used to torture Richie Super in 1998?
That's another success story.
He used to fucking hate me because I'd knock on his door every time I was at that office and go, when are you going to put me on the road, dog? You missed it last night. I killed And he would go, just because you killed don't mean you're fucking going to be a success. Now get the fuck out of here, kid. I would leave him alone. You know, and yeah, you're right. Now he's got the beer company. Now he's got the fucking beer company. You know,
Yep.
you never know till you wake the fuck up out of bed and do something with your life. That's it. That's what I say every morning. Just get up. Just get up, bro. Get up and get out. You might be walking and bump into a fucking a CB radio salesman. And he talks you into becoming a CB radio salesman. Where's the CB? You don't use the CB no more. But there's got to be 3,000 people who are still stuck in the CB. And you find all of them and sell them new CBs. Every fucking seat has an ass. When I used to sell cars, I'd go, look at that fucking green car. Who's going to buy that? And I had an old car manager that would go, every seat's got an ass, kid. Somebody will come in here and buy it. And a week later, they would be, one man's chicken is another man's gumbo, dog. It might be an ugly car to you, but to some guy, wow, a green car. I want that fucking thing.
Yeah. I just want to go back to one thing you mentioned before, which was the letting go factor. To me, that was the key to me. As soon as I let it go, it just poured. Just let it go. Let it happen. You know what I mean? It's just like, like you said, don't defeat yourself by having the negative thought that it's not gonna happen. Don't even worry about it. It's gonna happen. You know, if you go back 100 years, Los Angeles is a place that has been built upon people that came here with a dream. You know, going back to the silent era. You know, like all these men and women that want to be part of the silent movies, and then, you know, you got radio, television, and then finally, you know, eventually music became a part of it. You know, so this is generations of dreamers. Even if you were like, you know, my wife, she's not in the entertainment industry, but her dad came to LA, you know, from the Midwest, because he wanted to be a guitar player. He wanted to be a musician, you know. So it's generations of dreamers that make up this whole area, this whole place. This is one of the most unique environments in the whole world.
I never thought about it that way. I think of my parents leaving Cuba.
Yeah.
Before the revolution.
Yeah.
Like they knew something that maybe
Yeah.
they left. Like my dad left in like 52 or something. He was a young kid. He goes, fuck this shit. You know, he did what most people do. They just left after high school.
Yeah.
They just got up one day and said, fuck this. I've had enough of this island living. Gilligan still hasn't showed and shit.
Yeah.
So, what do you got coming up?
More shows with the Guess Who. We have an album coming out. Let's see, Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, September with Judas Priest. A whole bunch of stuff.
You're a fucking savage. Yeah. You know, man, this is a Monday morning podcast. And I think just the last 15 minutes of this podcast was so strong for a Monday morning about like where it all starts with your mind. People don't really believe that shit. But it's true, Rudy. For me, it started when I said, I'm getting into comedy. I don't give a fuck about my credit bureau. I don't give a fuck about the credit card people. I don't give a fuck about the banks. I don't give a fuck about what I drive. I don't give a fuck about what my clothes on. Because at the end, it doesn't really matter unless you're happy. For years, I worried about my job, and I gotta have white sneakers, or not, I gotta have a black shirt on, and who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, I wasn't happy. I didn't get happy till I started driving cross country with a pair of shorts on and stinky sneakers and a t-shirt, and you got 3 pair of jeans and 3 shirts, and they're lasting you all week, dog. You got like 4 pair of socks, and you get on the stage. That's when I really started getting happy. When I started waking up in the morning and knew I had to drive 200 miles, and I had $32.50 in quarters, and I had to get lunch with that, reefer, and gas to get me to that next location. For some reason, I'd be fucking happy. A lot happier than making fucking $1,200 a week and paying my bills. I was like, this is what I like. I like this. So it's food for thought. Sometimes it's not about the money or the dollars. It's about what brings a fucking smile to your face, you know?
Finding the joy in whatever you do in life, you know, whatever you choose, whatever your dream is, you know, it's got to be joyful.
And once you find it, let yourself go. Don't think about it. Don't look back.
Yeah.
Don't compare prices.
Yeah.
Don't listen to your uncle about taking that roofing job for $1,250 for stability. You know what? Stability's overrated, dog. Stability's overrated.
Absolutely.
I think happiness is fucking doing what you want to the fucking hilt. And even if you, bro, I was in comedy for 12 years before I saw a dime. Yeah, well, you were getting paid, but nothing to write home about. I could have quit at any time in those 12 years and found a job. I would have tricked somebody into being an indoor salesman. I didn't want to do that. I would have rather live on $8,000 a year and do my own thing and fuck around at night and smoke pot with your stupid buddies and get on stage than go into an office. Insurance, who gives a fuck? When you think about insurance, that's when you need insurance. For 30 years, I ran around with no insurance. Nothing ever happened to me. Once I got insurance, that's when I started getting cut and toothaches and fucking hemorrhoids and your asshole hurts and shit. When you have no insurance and you're not worried about it, you're fine. Nothing happens to you. You ever notice that shit?
Yeah. I mean, just like you went through your own journey, you know, mine was... After Randy died, I just lost all the joy of playing, you know, because every night we have to go on stage and it was a reminder of the tragedy, you know. And I actually left Ozzy to join Quiet Riot, which was the biggest unknown. You know, like nobody in LA believed in the band. We had like, you know, a really bad record deal, but at least it was a record deal. But we couldn't even get management. We had to beg people to manage us. And, you know, it was like, these guys are, you know. But as soon as I got my butt on the first few shows that we did, we rented a station wagon and we drove up to San Francisco to play at the Keystones up there, and the joy of music came back. I had just left one of the biggest bands in the world, and here I am playing with with my buddy, basically a garage band level, you know, driving around in a station wagon, but I was happy again.
Now, when did Come Out Hear the Noise and all that come out?
Well, I mean, it came out on the radio, but, you know...
No, what year?
Well, it's 83.
So, okay, so you had that success with them.
No, with Ozzy first.
Right, with Ozzy first, then Quiet Riot.
Then Quiet Riot,
Now, what's the record that you guys have? You guys have... It's the #1 heavy metal album of all time.
Well, it was actually the first debut metal album to reach #1.
Okay, there's some
Billboard.
accolade because I saw it.
Yeah, and this is during the time where to go to #1, you had to sell about 1 million copies a week. You know, so it's a lot of records. I mean, you know, like today, you know, like all these people getting Grammy awards and whatever, they don't even, you know, sell 1 million in a year. You know, which is because, you know, of downloading and, you know, illegal downloading and everything that goes on. You know. I mean, basically nowadays you make a record so you can go to a promoter and say, hey, you know, I got a brand new record, you know, give me some shows. Back in the day was you did the shows to promote the record. Now you do a record to promote the shows. You don't make any money on records. Nobody does. And we're trying to find, like, that's why we do meet and greets. You know, VIP meet and greets, you know, because it kind of like covers the cost of whatever touring cost we get, you know, to compensate it and sell merchandise and stuff like that.
Fucking Cat Stevens, $300 at the Beacon Theater in New York City. The prices for the tickets are outrageous, but people have to know because there's no more record sales.
Yeah.
There's only one band that's going to make money this year. That's Guns N' Roses.
Mm-hmm.
If they release a studio record. That was the rumor early on. But
but
it's
even the
already
Stones,
August.
the Stones released one this year. I don't know anybody who's bought the record. It's a Stones record. Come on, it was like, you know, as soon as back in the day, you and I, you know, as soon as the
right
Stones
there,
put
we
a
were
record,
down
we
there.
would just get it. You know, that was automatic.
It's a different fucking game out there, brother.
Sure is.
Always a pleasure.
Un placer y un
Un
honor.
placer. You know, I
Right.
love you to death. Like I said, I got no fucking dates to promote. It's Labor Day. This podcast is for you. And I just got to tell you 2 or 3 things, and I'll be out of your hair. Number 1, as usual, Blue Apron, bitches. It's the number 1 fresh ingredient and recipe delivery service in the country. Their mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everybody, all right? And that's a beautiful thing. It teaches you how to cook as a family. Because let me tell you something. Families who cook together stay together. I don't care what you say or what they tell you. You know, my experience with Blue Apron has been tremendous. Lee's had a great experience with them. They come, the products are measured. There's no waste. Everything goes in. And what you get yourself is a delicious home-cooked meal in, 45 minutes or less.
That's it.
You know, they're affordable for $10 per person per meal. Blue Apron will deliver the seasonal recipes along with proportioned ingredients to make tremendous home-cooked meals. You get a variety. You get a variety of new recipes each week. Or let Blue Apron's culinary team surprise you. Recipes are not repeated within 1 year, so you'll never be bored. You customize your recipes each week based on your preferences. And there's no weekly commitment, so you only get the deliveries when you want them. Each meal comes with a step-by-step, listen to me, step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card, and proportioned ingredients can be prepared in 40 minutes or less. If I could do it, you could do it. Blue Apron's freshness guarantee promises that every ingredient in your delivery arrives ready to cook, or they'll make it right. You want me to tell you this week's menu? Summer vegetable with egg paninis with Calabrian chili mayonnaise and a caprese salad. You never dreamed of making a caprese salad. Soy glazed pork and rice cakes with bok choy and marinated green beans. I don't even know what bok choy is. Skillet vegetable chili with cornmeal and cheddar drop biscuits. Are you kidding me? Garlic butter shrimp and corn with green bean salad and roasted purple tomatoes. I thought Dr. Zeus had purple tomatoes, but that's not how it works out. Listen, here's what we're going to do. Check out the menus. If there's something you want, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you 3 free meals with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/Joey. You're going to love how it tastes. You're going to love how it feels, and you're going to be happy. You get to create incredible home-cooked meals right in your house with Blue Apron. So don't wait. Right now, give it a shot, bro. Give it a shot. You want to lose weight, the whole thing, this is how to do it. This is the start right here. blueapron.com/Joey. Blue Apron, a better way to cook, all right? Number 2, on it. Best supplements out there. Alpha Brain, it don't work for you. You don't like it. Whatever. I don't know. I started thinking about Martians. You don't like it? You don't even have to send it back, and they'll give you a money-back guarantee 100%. They also have the Hemp Force Protein. You got the Shroom Tech Sport, Shroom Tech Immune. If you fly all the time, you keep your immune system up. And that's it, and that's that. I love you motherfuckers. See you Wednesday. Stay black, stay healthy, and have a good fucking day, all right? And don't let nobody fucking tell you. Remember what me and Rudy told you. It all starts with your fucking dream. Have a great day. Love you.